Hello, and welcome to Investor Web, where we unravel the secrets of the business world. Today, we're unmasking a darker side, lifting the veil on 10 unethical ways businesses use to make money. Now, it's no secret that the primary goal of any business is to generate profit. However, some companies cross the line, employing tactics that are not just morally questionable, but often veer into the realm of illegality. We're talking about actions that, while they may line the pockets of corporations, can also lead to a loss of trust, damaged reputations, and hefty legal penalties. But before we dig in, a quick reminder: if you find our content helpful, don't forget to subscribe and stay updated on all things business. So without further ado, let's dive into the deep end and expose these dubious practices. Starting off our countdown at number 10, we have hidden fees. Picture this. You're cruising through an online store, delighted to find a product at a seemingly low price. Your cart is full, you're ready to check out, and then bam! The total soars sky high. What happened? Hidden fees happened. These are additional costs sneakily added at the last moment. They might come dressed as delivery charges, service fees, or even processing costs. Businesses often use them to lure customers in with an attractive initial price, only to inflate the final bill with these sneaky add-ons. It's a crafty strategy that plays on our psychological tendency to commit to a purchase once we've invested time and energy into it. But don't be fooled by these cunning tactics. Your best defense: always read the fine print before making a purchase. Remember, a deal that seems too good to be true probably is. Coming in at number 9, we have false advertising. Now, this is a tricky one. Businesses, in their quest for profits, often exaggerate the benefits of their products or services. They might promise you the moon only to deliver a handful of stardust. They might claim their product will make you lose £10 in a week, or that their service will double your business revenue overnight. And in some extreme cases, they might outright lie about what they're selling. This kind of deception is not only unethical, but also illegal in many parts of the world. However, it's a practice that's difficult to regulate, and unfortunately, it's the consumers who bear the brunt of these false promises. That's why it's essential to take everything with a pinch of skepticism. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So always do your research before buying into a too good to be true advertisement. At number 8, we find exploitative labor practices. A dark underbelly of the business world, these practices involve employers taking undue advantage of their employees, often those who are the most vulnerable. These unethical practices range from paying workers less than the minimum wage to overworking them without proper compensation. Imagine working endless hours only to receive a paycheck that barely covers your basic necessities. Or consider the plight of those who are denied the basic benefits that many of us take for granted, such as health insurance or paid time off. In some instances, businesses might even resort to unsavory tactics like withholding pay or employing child labor. These practices not only harm the individuals involved, but they also contribute to wider societal issues, such as poverty and inequality. So be mindful of where and from whom you are buying your products. After all, every purchase is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. At number 7, we have environmental damage. A rather unfortunate reality we face today is the prioritization of profits over the preservation of our environment by many businesses. The relentless pursuit of wealth often blinds corporations to the environmental harm they cause. From the smog-choked skies above industrial cities to the deforestation of our planet's lungs, the consequences of such practices are far-reaching and devastating. These unethical practices include pollution of our air and waterways, excessive resource consumption, and irresponsible waste disposal. It's not just about the direct damage either. It's also about the lost opportunities to invest in cleaner, more sustainable practices that could benefit both the business and the environment in the long run. The cost of such disregard for the environment is not just a future problem. It's a present crisis. So remember, your choice matters. Choose businesses that prioritize sustainability. It's not just good for the planet, it's good for business too. Coming in at number 6, we have unfair competition. This is a dark alley where some businesses lurk, engaging in unethical practices to get a leg up on their rivals. The tactics can be as diverse as the businesses themselves. Let's delve into the murky world of price fixing. Imagine a handful of major players in a market conspiring to set prices at a level that smaller competitors can't match. That's not just unethical, it's also illegal. And then there are false rumors. A company might spread misinformation about a competitor's product or service to tarnish their reputation. This kind of underhanded tactic can lead to significant damage to the maligned company's sales and brand image. Finally, some businesses engage in monopolistic practices, stifling competition and leaving consumers with fewer choices and potentially higher prices. Remember, competition should be fair and beneficial to the consumer. Unfair practices not only hurt other businesses, but also you, the end consumer. At number 5, we find tax evasion. Allow me to paint a picture for you. A business, big or small, thriving and making profits, but when the taxman comes calling, they're suddenly as poor as a church mouse. This, dear friends, is the world of tax evasion. Businesses, through clever accounting and exploiting the intricate loopholes of tax laws, manage to keep their hard-earned money to themselves, sidestepping their responsibility to contribute to society's coffers. But who carries this burden instead? Why, you and I, the individual taxpayers, we are left to shoulder the weight these businesses artfully dodge. Governments are deprived of revenue and public services suffer. Tax evasion is not just an unethical business practice, it's illegal. It's a game of cat and mouse with the authorities, a risky gamble where the stakes are high. So let's make a conscious choice. Support businesses that pay their taxes honestly, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. At number 4, we have data breaches. Let's delve into the murky waters of cyber insecurity. In this digital age, businesses collect vast amounts of customer data, from names and addresses to credit card details and more. This data is a goldmine, not just for the businesses, but also for cybercriminals. Sometimes businesses fail to adequately protect this sensitive information, opening the door to data breaches. These breaches can lead to serious issues like identity theft, financial loss, and even a breach of privacy. Imagine someone you've never met knowing your deepest secrets or your financial status. Quite unsettling, isn't it? These breaches are not only unethical, but also illegal. They erode trust and can lead to severe penalties for businesses. However, the sad reality is that some businesses are not investing enough in data security. So, always ensure that businesses you interact with take data security seriously. It's your data, your identity, your life. Make sure it's protected. Coming in at number 3, we have bribery and corruption. They're two peas in a pod, and unfortunately they are more common in the business world than we'd like to admit. Bribery and corruption manifest in various forms. A company might grease a few palms to win a contract or even to sidestep regulations that could impact their operations. It's a dangerous game because while it may offer immediate gains, the long-term consequences can be catastrophic. Think about it. A firm that relies on bribery to win contracts isn't necessarily the best at what it does. It's simply the best at playing dirty. And a business that uses corruption to dodge regulations is not only breaking the law, but also potentially putting people or the environment at risk. The bottom line, a short-term win can lead to long-term disaster. And that's why it's essential to support businesses that operate transparently and ethically. At number 2, we find price gouging. Now, this is a term you may have heard, particularly during times of crisis. This unethical business practice involves companies drastically increasing the prices of goods or services that are in high demand. Imagine this scenario. A natural disaster hits and suddenly the price of basic necessities like bottled water or fuel skyrockets. This isn't simply the law of supply and demand at work. No, this is a calculated move by businesses to exploit desperate customers in times of need. It's important to note that price gouging isn't just unethical, it's illegal in many jurisdictions. Yet some businesses still resort to this practice, hiding behind excuses of increased operational costs or supply chain disruptions. Price gouging tarnishes a business's reputation and breeds consumer mistrust. Remember, businesses should be part of the solution during a crisis, not part of the problem. And finally, at number 1, the most shocking unethical business practice, Ponzi schemes. These are fraudulent investing scams promising high rates of return with little risk to investors. The Ponzi scheme generates returns for early investors by acquiring new investors. This is similar to a pyramid scheme in that both are based on using new investors' funds to pay the earlier backers. Companies or individuals running Ponzi schemes usually lure investors by promising them sky-high returns with little or no risk. However, instead of investing the money, they use the cash from new investors to pay off the old ones. Sadly, this house of cards eventually collapses. Why? Because for the scheme to work indefinitely, there would need to be an endless supply of new investors. So when the flow of new investors dries up, the scheme unravels. So always be wary of investments that seem too good to be true. And there you have it, the top 10 unethical business practices. We've journeyed through a murky world of hidden fees, false advertising, and exploitative labor practices. We've seen the damage done to our environment, the unfair competition, and the lengths some will go to evade taxes. We've delved into the dark corners of data breaches, bribery, corruption, price gouging, and lastly, the deceptive world of Ponzi schemes. These unethical practices are not just harmful to consumers, but also to the economy and society as a whole. They erode trust, discourage fair competition, and hinder sustainable growth. Ethics in business is not just a moral obligation, but a crucial ingredient for long-term success. Remember, as we navigate the world of business, let's strive to stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay ethical. Thank you for watching Investor Web. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the business world. Stay informed, stay ethical.